Hello, hello, and welcome in. You're listening to From Mrs. to Ms. I'm Andrea, your host. I'm being joined by a fabulous person, the only one that is still standing, the incredible Azie Osborne is back.
Whoa.
I love it. I hope you guys tuned in last week because we had what was meant to be a one episode is now turned into two because it was just such an incredible discussion. We talked all about cheating and the difference between regular cheating and micro cheating, physical and emotional, and kind of how to get yourself out of that place and to provide hope for you guys. So I hope that you'll go back and listen. Azie has so much incredible information, and she knows what she's talking about, you guys. She is a love and relationship expert and practitioner. And so for those of you that don't know, she does work with singles and couples, supporting them to come back to their true authentic self and helping them to find a healthy and fulfilling relationship along the way. So it's not just coming out of her ass. She knows what she's talking about, is what I'm saying.
I think I do.
I think you do.
And sometimes I don't. I always say I'm not an expert. I'm a student. I'm a student of life. We all are students, and I'm happy. I'm happy to be.
Yeah. And I think it's incredible because we learn as we go, and you and I have become really good friends over the last, I don't know, year or two, maybe, I think, something like that. And I just feel like every time we have our conversations, I'm learning from you. And I love that because you just help me to see things in such a different way.
And I'm learning from you.
Than I did before. See, that's just a wonderful friendship right there.
Yes.
Feeding each other. So, all right. So we got the cheating stuff out of the way, but we're not done talking about the lies. We're still talking about some lies here. So we're going to talk about the dating profile lies that we all tell. Now, I know not everybody's on like the dating site and doing your profile, but if you are, listen up because we're going to touch base on all of these little things that people do. So we're talking about age changes on their profile.
Yes.
We're talking about height. That one irks me really bad. So we're going to break these down for you. But old pics, their relationship status or what they're looking for. There is so many things. And then we're going to talk about what's harmless versus what is deception, right? Like, how do we look at that? Is that really, are you starting off on the wrong foot? Is that truly a lie going into the relationship? And then we're also going to touch base on how honesty could actually attract the right people if you do it right. Right? Yes. Okay. So let's break this down a little bit. Now, I'm on the dating sites way more than you. You've kind of you're on hiatus for a little bit.
Break.
Just taking a break, but you know what we're talking about.
Yes.
Yes. What do you think is the biggest lie that people tell on there?
Well, I think that I think age is a big one. I think a lot of people think that it's okay to lie about their age because they might attract someone at the age that they want. Meaning, if they're 60, they're not going to put that they're 60. They're going to probably put younger because they're going to think that the person they want is going to look or search for someone under 60.
Yes.
So I think I think that's the biggest one. And then you have height, right? They say that the majority of men lie about their height, or their careers. They embellish their careers. Or
everyone's a CEO, by the way. Everyone's
a CEO, yeah. And just also, I think that there's little tiny lies, right? Like people, I think, post things, yoga poses, but they never go to the yoga studios. Maybe they just went one time, or just so interesting things. Like, because everything's about wanting to impress someone else, and instead of just being you, because at some point being us is not okay. No.
I don't know. I think age is the biggest one. What were you saying?
I was going to say, I was going to ask you, how do you feel about, because I have my beliefs and my stance on this, but I'm curious about you. Are you okay when people lie about their age?
Honestly, I think I've come to just overlook it at this point. I'm just tolerating it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the biggest thing to me that they do. I think what I think makes it worse is because for those of you that don't know, when you go into the dating profile, you have to fill out your initial information and it asks you for your birth date. It clearly states this cannot be changed.
Mhm.
So, so then what happens is then when people have now put in a different birth date because they are trying to get the algorithm different, they're trying to match with younger people, which I get that.
Mhm.
But what happens now that's very frustrating is when they put in their profile and they're talking about them, they'll go, can't change the age, don't know why. Or I'm trying to change it, it won't let me. And
Yeah.
that's where I'm like, so now you're just adding a lie and a lie because you know exactly why you can't change the age and you know why it's wrong.
Yeah.
So now that you're saying that, that's where I get like turned off by that. Like just own it that you did it. You know, some people, a
Yeah.
lot
Some
of
people
people
say
just
it.
say, I'm 60, not 57. And they might just leave it at that. But the ones that
Yeah.
have to go, no, know why? I'm like, no, you do know why. You just don't
Yeah.
want to tell us why. So
So
that's
true.
frustrating. But I do feel like with them changing it for whoever they're looking for, I kind of get that. And maybe that's something that the dating sites need to come up with a way that it asks you, you know, yes, this is my age, but I feel like I look this age. I feel like I am this age, or I'm specifically looking for a different age because on the
Mhm.
most of them, we don't know what their filters are set at. So I don't know what age range they're looking for. But if it's a guy that is like, I know a man that's a very attractive man. He's 62 years old. He does not look 62. He doesn't act it. He doesn't feel it. But so when he's on the dating site, he's not wanting to put his age because then he's going to get maybe a 60-year-old woman who is not up to par with him. You know what I mean? She maybe does look her age. And so that's what he's getting a lot of. And so they want to lower that to kind of get somebody in the range of where they feel they are or that they'd be a
Yeah.
good match with. So I don't know what the resolve is for that, how they can fix that, but I think something could be done. Something.
Hopefully. I
Yeah.
actually I get bothered by it, if I'm being really honest with you.
Mhm.
It does
Yeah.
bother me. It kind of makes me think, well, if they're lying about this, what else would they
What
be
else?
lying about? And I
Mhm.
get that they admit to it, on their site, but it still gives me kind of the ick. I don't know
Yeah.
why. It just gives me the ick.
Yes. And I think it did for me in the beginning. And I think now I've just seen it so many times. And it's just
Mm,
like, all right, what am I going to do? Am I going to judge them on this whole one thing? Because I've even seen on, when there's some conversations on this type of topic, and some people are just adamant, like exactly what you said. Well, if he lied to you about that, what else is he going to lie to you about? Move on. Don't trust him. And
mhm.
I don't think that when they're doing it, I don't think it's intentional to be like, oh, I'm going to lie to them and tell them
No.
something different.
Yeah.
I think it's this internal struggle of, well, I don't want to say I'm that age, even though I am. And so they just do. And so I
Mhm.
don't know if it's worth blowing up the entire possibility of meeting somebody because they said that, but to each his own, right?
Yeah, I think I was just gonna say that. Like, everyone's got their values and their way of understanding this or liking or not liking this. I think it's a personal
Yes.
it's a personal decision for everyone.
Yes. So everybody needs to be careful about that. Own who you are and your age. It doesn't matter. You don't have to swipe on the person just because they're not exactly your type.
Yeah,
You're still going to get some. Or put your right age, but open up your age, your filter of what you're looking for. And maybe in the comments section or where you're talking about yourself,
yeah.
that's where you can say, I know it shows I'm 62, but I don't look it, I don't feel it. And honestly, they should be able to tell that from your pictures anyway. If again,
If they
those are not a lie.
but if they see them, right? Because if you
Yes.
have a filter on there that says, "I will only look at up to 50," then you're missing a whole
You're
I
missing
always
out.
go higher because
Yep.
I know that there are a lot of men that they take really good care of themselves and they look a lot younger. So I go
Hmm.
higher than the age that I'm willing to date just
Yes.
to kinda see what's out there, and I notice that a lot of the older men tend to lie more or to
Yeah.
shift their
Me
age.
too.
So I look for the ones that are honest about their age. To me, that
Yeah.
that speaks
That's
volume,
important.
but, um, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
personal thing.
I tend to do it too. I like an older man. I love a salt and pepper kind of look.
Mhm.
I like a dapper, like somebody who's like,
Dapper.
and that can dress well and that he takes care of himself. I love that look. I mean, I like younger men. I like men. But I like younger men too. But what I find, and I've recently had to open up my profile to like younger because I think I've seen everybody. Um, but the younger ones usually then are still wanting kids, or they're because then they can date younger who are going to have kids, and so that's where it's a
That's
little
right.
tricky. but
It's a
I
little
like them
tricky.
all. I like them all. So what about their pictures? Let's talk about their pictures.
Oh my
But
God.
those
Oh geez.
sometimes I can't, Ozzy. I'm
Yeah.
like, I talk as I go through it. Are you kidding me? As I'm swiping
Oh
left,
my
I'm
God, me
like,
too.
oh
And then
my
I'm like,
God.
I'm the worst judger. Oh my, I should not be on here. Oh my God, I cannot believe you wore that outfit. And then I zoom in on some of the pictures to see what they have in their background, because sometimes they'll take a picture in the mirror that will show the reflection of the room that they have, of a
You,
bed that they
can you
haven't made.
zoom in?
I'm like, dude, your underwear should not be in the picture.
That is so funny because I know people are zooming in and people get it. Maybe guys mostly don't know this, that women, we are sleuths and we're detectives. And so when we're thinking there might be something, we are zooming in to everything in your background. And
Yes,
if they see something back there that leads toward maybe there maybe being a female within the house, they will point that out. Like,
yes.
or the ring finger, if you don't, you know what I mean? They don't even notice they're holding up their finger. And then we're trying to determine, okay, wait, is that the right hand, the left hand, based on where they're looking in the mirror or whatever, you
Ah.
know? But we're really checking that stuff out. But what really gets me is the pictures of, I could go on all day about this. Okay, holding a fish. I don't need to see you holding your fish.
Done. Tiger.
Done. In the gym, putting your
Yeah,
muscles up. Like we can
yeah.
see that just fine, right? Um, Also the other one, wait, what was the really good one I had? Oh, when they're just old pictures, they're like showing
Yeah,
pictures of when they're like
yeah.
19 years old or something. I'm not dating you at 19, so I really
No.
don't care what you look like at 19.
Yeah.
And then the ones that are, they're not in it at all. It's just
Oh, and then you're yeah,
food.
where in the world is Waldo? Like, where
Yep,
are you in the picture? You're with 10 other guys. I
and
don't
other
understand.
people. Yes, if I cannot picture, and you know what, what really sucks is when there's group pictures, I always look first, right? And I'm
Yeah.
going, please let it be the cutest one in here. And it never is. And there's a reason why they're doing the group picture because
The
they're bringing in, they're bringing in the more attractive people. If they are a little bit less attractive, I'm trying to be very gentle here. And they bring in more attractive people because who you're surrounding yourself with kind of increases how you look, right? And
yeah.
you're like, oh, all these attractive guys, whatever. But it's never the one I want it to be.
Never.
Never,
Ever, ever.
never. Yeah.
What about the guys that hold someone else's baby? I'm like, "What in the
Yeah.
world? I don't need to see
Yes.
you with a baby."
It's got to be they watch too many of those movies where the guys go to the park with a baby and a dog and they get hit on all the time because they think that's what women want.
Yeah.
Yeah, why? And then you're questioning, is that your child? Or they have to go, this is my niece and nephew. Why? Why are they in that picture with you? I don't understand.
Somebody must have told him that it makes a woman swoon over a guy with a baby.
Yes.
And by the way, I love men with babies, don't get me wrong.
Makes me more fertile.
However, I
Uh-huh.
think the modern woman today is a little smarter than that, and she could tell it's not your baby, and you're just trying to
Babies.
impress, right? And
Yes.
listen, it's all in good intention. I'm sure that
Yes.
they want to impress. But when I
Yes.
look at someone's dating profile, when I
Yeah.
work with singles, when I look at the man's, for me, it's always just put nice pictures up of you
Yeah.
smiling. Look, I don't look angry. You don't want to scare the lady off.
I
Make sure you
saw
have
one of those the other day.
a nice smile. Make sure that you're in an environment where you're actually doing things that you do on a day to day or
Yes.
even weekly or on weekends.
Yes.
I mean, just
They
because you went to snorkeling one time does not mean we need to see a picture. Like, you're giving me a glimpse
do
of your
not make
life.
you a snorkeler.
Correct. Oh my God.
Yes, and I say that all the time because there's so many that I'm like, when they're trying to do selfies, some people just can't take a selfie, right? And so they're doing the duck lips or they're very serious and then they have 5 pictures of the same look, and I just like, just ask somebody to take some pictures of you. Think about things you enjoy doing. If you're out playing pickleball or something, take a picture of that when you're like on the court or you're making a shot or you're doing, pretending. But
Yeah,
at
acting shot.
least, yeah, it shows that you're doing something.
Mhm.
And no pictures with women, like not a guy with a girl, and then you're going to have to explain it. That immediately, I think it's a couple.
Mhm. Mhm.
Sometimes it is, so you never
Mhm.
know. You have to differentiate there. But yeah, it's just take time with the photos. I really want to just a lot of times just swipe right on them, not because I'm interested, but because I just want to help them. Like if I
Yeah.
feel like they're sincere and they're genuinely looking for somebody, but they're just struggling with their photos and the things they're saying, I think that can be very helpful.
What about the guys that write a story, like a whole
Oh
book
yeah.
on their profile?
Yeah, it's a lot. I'm a
Uh,
skimmer. I'll skim it real
that's a
quick,
lot.
and try to pull out anything good. But sometimes too much is
Yeah.
too much. But I
Mm,
also don't like one word or two word answers when they're
mm-mm.
like, if you could change something about yourself, and then they're just like shoes or something like stupid, I'm like, well, you can't even have a conversation. So I go on
Also,
all day.
we know when you had ChatGPT write your profile, so just so you know.
Just saying, we
Just
know. And that's
saying.
another one. And I actually called a guy out on that because his answers were too perfect. And I said, sounds like ChatGPT. And he said 50-50. At least he was honest enough to
Yeah.
say that. But no, because I'm not dating Chat. Right. So, like,
Dating
when you
too.
get here, I'm only going to now get 50% of the conversation. So that
Yes.
sucks.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Less is more, guys.
Less
Less is
is
more.
more. I
Remember, we're
know.
looking to feel safe. When we're looking at guys, we're looking to feel a certain something. So if you want to
Yes.
evoke a certain feeling in us, think about how would I make someone feel safe? How would I present myself as myself, of course. And
Yes.
that way she doesn't have to go through your pictures and zoom in and guess who you are in the pic. Just less
And
is
all
more.
these things we do just to
Just
figure out if
do.
they're worthy of a swipe. It's a lot. It's a
It
lot.
is.
Yes.
Love
So what
it.
about, like, what would you say? So I've seen this a lot lately where people are doing their relationship status or what they're looking for, because now a
Mhm.
lot of them ask for what you're looking for. And it's very confusing, I must say,
Mm.
because they'll put, I think some of your choices are casual dates, intimacy without commitment, a long-term
Friends with benefits.
relationship, friends with benefits. Yes. And some people just put all four. They just list them out because you're like, oh, I don't know. Or some, will
Uh,
put long-term relationship, and then you start talking to them and clearly they're looking for a hookup. They're not looking for anything more than that. Do you think this is more like harmless, or would you consider something like that to be deception?
I don't know if I'd call it deception. I think I would call it someone who didn't take the time and wasn't intentional about their profile. And
Mm.
I think that
Okay.
you get to decide that.
Yeah.
What if I feel that someone took the time and was intentional with what they put in the profile, and I'm drawn to it, and I'm
Yes.
spending the time to read what they're saying, and I'm looking at their photos, and I'm there's a feeling that's evoked in me, then I personally will reach out or will like their stuff, right? So
Good.
I think it just depends on and this is where it's so important as daters. We have to know what we want. We
Yes.
have to know what we're looking for. And we
Yes.
and not only what we're looking for, how do we want to feel?
Mhm.
That is so
Mhm.
important. If you don't do that first work,
Yep.
you're just going to be dating and swiping and all over the place, and you're going to get
Yeah.
a,
No
a
substance.
handful of really frustrating profiles to look through.
Yeah.
But if you're
Yeah.
intentional, not if, when you're intentional,
Yes.
both men and women, then it's very easy. It's a very simple, yes. Nope.
Mm.
Like you kind of know the rhythm,
Mhm.
right? You're not just
Yeah.
kind of wondering and guessing, and anyone that's leaving you with a question mark is a no.
Yes.
Is a no.
Yes. No. And
Is a no.
sometimes I do think it can be a little, just, I think about this for myself even. Okay. So, like, I do go back and forth sometimes between, am I looking for a relationship right now, or am I
Mm.
am I good with just kind of dating and just enjoying myself, having my own free time, not having to answer anybody? I go back and forth with that. And I stopped asking that question. I used to ask it a lot, during our initial conversation. So what are you looking for? The dreaded question people would get. And I stopped asking it because, I think really when you think about it, we can all say, well, I'm just looking for something casual right now, or, I'm not ready for a long term relationship. But we all know good and well that the right person comes along that you feel the chemistry with, you have great conversations. I mean, everything lines up. You're going to just be like, I'm not really looking for that full relationship. So I
Mm.
think it just depends on where things go with that person. How can you really determine and say where you're at or what you're looking for right now when you don't know until you see it sometimes, right? Makes it a little bit different.
I actually think that you have to reverse that. I have to, in the way that I work is I teach you how to really know what it is that you want. Because I
Mm.
really think it's important to have intentional daters out there. We have too
Yeah.
many people who are floaters, who don't know what
Yes.
they want, who are not really sure if they want to be in a relationship or not a relationship. And you're
I'm
gonna
a floater
you're
right
gonna
now.
be reflected that
Yes.
in the profiles you're gonna see that.
Yeah.
But if you are very intentional and you know what you want and you make that decision, this
Mhm.
week I'm in all in, and I'm choosing to be
This
open
week.
to a yeah, I mean, just whatever. Give yourself a
Yeah,
week.
yeah,
Give yourself how it doesn't matter, right?
yeah.
For
I
right
love it.
now, forget the
Uh,
week. For right
uh,
now, I'm choosing to be open to a relationship,
yeah.
to
Yeah.
meeting someone,
I like it.
right? And then
Yeah.
and then you enter the dating apps from that.
Mhm.
That's a very grounded
It
space to
is.
be in. You are in
Mhm.
you're grounded, you're sure of yourself. You're going to start to see the things that you don't want, right?
Mhm.
And then you're going to get to the things that you do want. And then
Yes.
you're going to be very clear. It's going to be super clear. Otherwise you
Yeah.
have no idea what you're looking at.
Yes. I think I'm in the floater stage right now, I'll be
Ah,
honest. I just am from the sense of like I've done where I've been intentional. I'm like, yes, this is what I want. I want the long-term relationship. I want to be with somebody. And then that kind of, I meet somebody and maybe I'm just changing a little bit because they're not quite ready. And I'm like, maybe I'm not either, but it feels right at the moment. I'm really enjoying just being by myself, but I still like a companion. I like to have somebody to do stuff with. And so I think I'm in that in between stage. But again, I think if somebody came along that just knocked my socks off, that I'm like, I cannot see myself without this person,
so you're
I'll be thinking,
so you're not necessarily in the floater
I'm the
category.
floater
You're
without the shoes.
actually no, you're actually in the protective category.
Oh, you're right. Yes, I am. If I'm going to be honest, I know I am. I know I have my wall up a little bit right now just because, and I'm kind of hanging out with somebody kind of in that situation. And I'm not, I don't, it's hard for me to even say because I feel like I'm okay with it right now. I really, truly am. I'm not just saying that because he is. And I feel like, if he doesn't, then I'll just go, I need to move on and find somebody else. So I'm not like pining after him, is all I'm saying. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just like, you know what? I'm a catch, dude. You're going to miss out. And that's fine. You'll be coming back when I've moved on. That's what I
Yeah,
say.
that's what you say. That's right. You are a catch, Andrea.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes.
So people don't often realize how honesty can actually attract the right people, right? So
Mhm.
kind of like what we're saying, if you are actually honest within everything you're saying and being true to yourself and who you are, you've got nothing to worry about then when they start questioning you.
Mm.
Like how awkward is that when people are like, "So, you're 47," and they're like, "Well, no, I'm really 51." Well, that sucks right now to
Oh
hear
my
them say
god.
that, right?
Yeah, yeah, it sucks the
Yeah.
air out. It feels like it almost feels like a betrayal, even though it's not the intention
Yeah.
isn't the betrayal, but it
Yeah.
feels sort of like, well, you kind of deceived me. Kind of like you
Yes.
weren't honest, and then now we have to deal with this. And why did you have to, and so it's just it doesn't start you on a good
No.
on a
Good foot.
good footing, and
Yeah.
you want to start a relationship from a good place.
Yeah, and I think maybe even by itself, it's not necessarily this entirely deceptive thing. But when you start, but then you catch them in another lie. Now
Mhm.
that's a layer, right? Then you look back going, and they lied about this before. It just kind of layers it. So I think that people just need to recognize that those who are really honest and truthful, I think are being intentional too. I think that's the difference right there as well, right? Like we said. So when you're doing that, you're hoping to find somebody that is intentional and you're hopefully going to attract that as well, right? Somebody who wants the same authenticity that you are giving, and you can kind of find that.
Yeah,
So
I come from the belief of when you know who you are and you know how you want to feel in a relationship, that the universe will collaborate with you to find. And we're so bogged into and so caught in the minutia of these dating apps, right? We're just
mhm.
so in the weeds of like this and that and the rules and all that. And it's like we're forgetting to just, what do you want?
Yes,
How do you want to feel?
right.
To me, that's what it boils down to, because once you're very clear about that,
Hmm.
it can't not be magnetized to you.
Yeah,
Cannot
I
not
love
be
that.
magnetized to you. It just can't,
Yeah.
because that's a frequency by which you are operating and stepping into the world with. The world
Yeah.
will occur to you from a place of confidence. It will occur to you from a place of, I got this. I'm deserving of a relationship that feels really good and that
Yeah.
makes me smile and inspires me to learn and helps me grow and has me doing some adventures. That is how I want to feel in my relationships. And that is exactly what I'm going to attract.
Huh.
But if I'm unsure and I'm not, and I'm like, yes and no, and then none, right? Like, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
attract that. And I'm going
Yeah.
to attract a potential partner that's going to be iffy as well, because they're
Yep.
reflecting to us how much iffy we are,
Yes.
right? It's a law of attraction. It's
Yes.
very simple. We
Yeah.
overcomplicate it. And then we blame
Totally.
and then we blame the apps. Guys, it's
Yeah.
not the apps. It's not the
It's
apps.
not the apps.
They've
Huh.
made us so lazy. They've made us lazy. They've made us angry. They made us.
They have. They have. So some quick questions for you. Have you ever lied on a dating profile?
Have I ever lied on a dating profile? No, I don't like to lie. I
Good.
have not lied. But I will tell you that I have used filters on some of my pictures.
Okay.
So
Is that
is that a
considered a
lie?
lie?
Yes. If I
It
used a
kind of
filter,
is,
if I
right?
embellished the way now, again, if I've used a filter, it's maybe embellishing a little bit, but a lie is
Yeah.
a lie. So I guess I have, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. But I guess you could look and go, is there anything wrong with us just wanting to feel a little bit better, present ourselves a little bit better, as long as it's not like an entirely different, like some
No,
people,
no, no, I'm never
you're like,
different.
I don't even know who that is.
No, and I also do a FaceTime, like I'll do a FaceTime with them. So we
Yeah.
actually see each other. They
See
see
their
the
real face,
mannerisms
right?
and we see one another. We see what we look like. We see what we how we interact and
Yes.
so they get to see me. It's not
Okay.
I'm not deceiving them, but if I have a little filter because I need a little bit of help because under the eyes was a little puffy.
It's a
Ooh,
little bit. It's
yeah.
okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
what I was going to ask you is what's one acceptable white lie? I would probably say that one is the one that's probably okay on a dating profile. Not like some crazy ass, like totally different filter, but like if it's just a little face tuned up, maybe just to
Yeah.
help us out.
And I'm going to tell you something. It's something because I worked with a matchmaker. So
Okay.
what I learned about, in the matchmaking world, right? And as I was helping and coaching single men in
Mhm.
dating, they look for the first thing they're visual. So
Yeah.
if they see something that attracts them, that's what they're going to swipe on,
Oh, yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
we're auditory. We're
Yes,
right.
we
Like
are.
for us, it's about
I want to
hearing.
hear that voice.
We want to hear that voice. Mhm. For them, it's visual. So if I embellish a picture just a little bit, just a little
Uh-huh.
tiny bit, who knows?
Who knows?
But a lie's a
It's
lie. I don't know
fine.
what to tell you.
Fine.
I
So
never claim to
basically,
be perfect.
no. And we're not asking people to be. We're just
No.
asking you to be yourself, who you
Be
are. Yeah.
yourself. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So if you are doing little lies on your profile, how about we change that up? Let's change it. Let's try to be truthful and authentic and honest and see if that attracts a different kind of man or woman. Might
Yeah,
help
and
us out.
remember, a photo is only captures a moment of who you
Mm,
are. It
yeah.
doesn't capture very much.
Yeah.
So be mindful about the moment that you're capturing and the moment that you're sharing, but
Mm,
also know it's not the end all be all. Give people a chance. I think that it again, it's not about the photo, it's about the person
mhm.
who's behind the profile. That's more important than the actual photo.
Yes.
I say this with a caveat,
Which is
which is unless you're really not attracted to the person.
you need some help.
Yeah, unless you're like really visibly, you're like, my eyes just, I cannot process this, and I cannot, like, okay, I'm okay with some dad bod, but
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, anyway,
Some dad bod. I don't know. I'm not
I don't
sure.
mind a dad bod. I'll be honest
You
with you.
know, you like a
Yeah.
good, just a little spare tire.
Let's just say I like a man who takes good care of himself, but I don't need a
But he
man
doesn't
who's
have to be
at the
ripped
gym.
up.
No, I don't need you to be at the gym every day. I don't need you to be, just if you take good care of yourself, mind,
Yeah.
body, and spirit,
Yes.
we'll get along.
As long as you can put me up in the air and flip me around, and you got the strength to do that
Oh,
without
no, no,
dropping
no,
me,
no,
we're
no.
good.
I don't
You're
want
like,
you.
I like heights.
Uh, no, no, I do not like heights, and I don't need to be.
I don't like amusement parks.
But you could throw me against the wall. That's a whole other story. Bend me
Like a
over.
piece of spaghetti. See if it sticks.
Yeah. Put me against a wall.
Put
Throw
me
me
into
over the
wall.
couch.
The wall is hot. You back up
Cool.
into a wall. That is like, that is hot. The couch
My
is
heart just
hot.
went.
Flutter, flutter. Yeah, there's some good spots that
Ah,
I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. But I get tired of the same old, just the same.
vanilla.
You know, let's go to the bed. I'm like,
Vanilla.
wah,
It's
wah.
too vanilla. We need a little. We need
We
spice.
need a
I
little
love the spice.
spice.
I've got some good
Yeah.
spice stories. Woo.
You,
For a
oh,
different episode, but yes.
all right, all right. We're gonna save that one for our spicy talk
Yeah.
coming up. But we're gonna get a little spicy here because we're gonna talk about why women
Uh,
fake orgasms and
mhm.
should stop. And I am gonna raise my hand, my woohoo, my paddle. I am guilty as charged. I haven't done it actually in the last probably year, I would say, which has been very good for me. I'm just more upfront and just go, because for me, I don't orgasm very often. It's
Mhm.
from intercourse. It's very,
So
I got
sad.
a sad face.
Mm.
But, you know, and I honestly, I have read and I'm pretty sure this happens to a lot more women than we think.
Yes,
And so
it
the
does.
majority of them end up faking it, right? And I used to do
Mhm.
that all the time. And then I had to really think about why. Why are you doing that? For multiple reasons, it's wrong. It's because you're not being true to yourself and what you really want and you're looking for, and you're letting them think that you're
Mhm.
satisfied when you're not. You're making
Mhm.
them think they're so much better than they are, and you're ruining it for the next girl when the guy is now like, I can make any girl get off,
Mhm.
and then she's like, really, not me.
Yeah.
And then he comes back to me, I can get any girl off, and I'm like, oh, not really, I lied. So, what do you think about that? Let's talk a little bit about the cultural pressure to perform, right? To
Yes.
always have that.
Yes.
And then, you know, how faking creates kind of this feedback loop. And
Mhm.
basically, I had to look this up. Like, what's a good feedback loop on, you know, the orgasm thing? It says, well, a partner thinks everything is fine, right? So they assume they're doing everything right.
Mhm.
Then the next step is the person faking doesn't communicate their real needs, their desires and their preferences aren't addressed. Then sex continues without improvement because the partner's unaware and the same issues repeat. And then faking becomes habitual. The
Yep.
person keeps faking to avoid disappointment or hurting the partner. You're in this vicious cycle and it never gets better. And then
Mhm.
you're wondering why your sex life is so bad, right? What do you think?
Yes. Well, so faking an orgasm, faking anything really, is a survival mechanism,
Mm,
and it actually erodes connection.
okay.
So exactly what you were saying, that the
Yeah.
loop, right? It gets
Yeah.
you into that and you become used to it. And then you're not actually teaching your partner how to please you. It's almost
Yeah.
like you're rejecting pleasure because there's something about pleasure, your relationship with pleasure, that for many reasons, right? People fake for many reasons. Whether
Yeah.
they're tired, whether it just feels like an obligation, whether, there might have been some sexual trauma, there might have been some other kind of trauma. There's just so many reasons why someone doesn't allow themselves to desire pleasure or
Yeah.
to receive pleasure.
Yeah.
And we have to understand that it definitely erodes connection because it's not honest,
Yes.
right? And
Yep.
when you're in survival mode, you're not thriving, you're not growing,
Yeah.
you can't, right?
Yep.
You're always going to do the same thing over and over and over again, getting the same results.
Yeah.
So that's
Which
how
is a
I see it.
definition of insanity.
Yes.
Right. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I agree because I remember when I would fake it pretty much all the time because I just don't really have them very often that
Hmm.
way at all, which is a very sad story for me. I should work on
Hmm.
that. But, I think that after a while, it was frustrating because then it became the same thing. Like he wasn't even trying anything new because he didn't know that there was an issue.
Hmm.
And he's thinking, oh, I got her before, so I'm going to get her again doing it this way. And so it was very disappointing for me, which is possibly why I enjoy upping the level on my sexual
Mhm.
experiences, how I'm like, oh yeah, throw me up against the wall and do those things, because that's what gets the excitement out of me
Mhm.
and it really turns me on, not just basic intercourse on the bed. And so I was missing out on all of that because then I'm just being in this repetitive thing that we're doing the same thing. And I'm like, again, just, you know, making sure he knows that I'm good. And I'm trying to end it quickly because I'm not enjoying it. And so there's so many things that we're missing out on because of that. And so I've learned really to have this conversation. I'm much more vulnerable up front and just expressing and
Mhm.
communicating that it is hard for me, but there's other things we can do to help get that along. And I think that becomes a challenge for them
Yeah.
too. And they like that, you
Yeah.
know?
I
Yeah.
they do, and I think we have to remember too, and I think this is a very sensitive topic for a lot of women,
Mhm.
and some men too. Some men have a hard time orgasming as well.
Yes. Yes.
Um, but you know, um, it becomes more about validation as opposed to validation. Sorry,
Mm.
validation. Forgive me. It becomes more about validation than intimacy,
Okay. Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
intimacy and faking orgasm is lying about the most intimate part of your relationship,
Yes. Yes.
right? It doesn't allow you to connect on such a higher level. Having an
Mm.
orgasm is not about like the end result. It's a thing that you
Yeah.
have to reach. It's a thing that you do together. It's a thing. It's
Yeah.
some people say it's the closest you get to God. Some people say
Wow.
it.
Some people. Yeah.
But yeah,
And
so I think
I think, go ahead.
it's beautiful when you're again, and I love that you're practicing communicating about it because
Mhm.
that's what it's about. It's about having a really good, healthy communication line with your partner so that they can understand where you're coming from. Perhaps they could help you out. That way
Mhm.
you aren't faking it. You aren't
Yeah.
lying about intimacy and avoiding it. Right? Because usually there
Yeah.
might be some, if I was working with you, I would talk to you about your relationship with intimacy, your relationship with desire, your relationship with pleasure, and we would talk about where, what about intimacy is so scary that you won't let
Mhm.
yourself get there.
hmm And there is some truth to that. I think if I were to go back, and I've thought about this before, like within my childhood or just me growing up, my parents were older. They had me at 40 years old, and we never talked about
Mhm.
sex at all. So it was very
Yeah.
taboo to me. I was having to kind of learn about it on my own, and it almost felt. And my mom was very religious. It almost felt like it was something that was dirty and
Yeah,
unacceptable. And I
shameful.
think, yeah, and I think it stems from that I never just allow myself to fully get there, or it's almost embarrassing in some way. I don't know. I'd have
Mhm.
to really like think about that to pinpoint it and figure it out. But it's yeah, I think that's kind of why it's always been this bit of a struggle for me. And so it was
Yeah.
just easier to just pretend like I did, but then I would find myself in this web of deception later, because a lot of times the man likes to be so, was it a good one? How was, like later in a conversation, you're talking,
Yeah.
they're like, so did you come earlier? And I'll be like, uh-huh,
Yeah.
I'm going to work on my acting skills then too. I mean, come on.
So remember I said that really speaks to someone who's looking for validation rather than
Yes.
looking to be intimate with you. And I think that that's the key. And again, it depends on your preference in the relationships that you are having, right? Some people
hmm
only want just to have an easy, breezy type of relationship.
Yep.
But if you're someone that's really looking for a deep, meaningful relationship, intimacy is a huge pillar in that.
Yeah.
And trust and honesty is important an important pillar as well. It's important to have that as part of your relationship. If you don't
Yeah.
have that, without honesty, you can't have intimacy. Intimacy is into me you see. It's the courage to
Mm-hmm.
be seen,
I love that.
right? And
Into
if you
me, you see. It's good.
Mhm. And if you
hmm
see if you learned, right, the imprint for you was a cultural belief or a family belief that sex is wrong
hmm
or sex is fill in the dot, fill in the
Yeah.
blank, right?
Yeah.
It comes with shame, and
Yeah.
shame kills intimacy. There's no way intimacy can exist with shame, right? So
Yeah.
we have to identify that. We have to identify the root of why it is that we feel the need to not be honest in the most
Mhm.
intimate parts of our relationships
I
so that we
know.
could enjoy our
Yeah.
relationships. Now,
Yeah.
for some people, right, some people actually have a physical component to this where it's actually painful to have sex.
Right. Right.
So they never even get to orgasm because they can't even have any to them. They can't even have anyone penetrate.
Yeah.
So
So
they avoid that area.
how do they, I don't know if you know, but then what do they do in that case? Like, what are they pretending at
No,
that point?
I am from the belief that the body keeps a score, that all
Mhm.
our physical ailments come from emotional trauma or emotional
Mhm.
pain that we haven't resolved. So for me, it's if there's a physical pain, it's a direct link to something emotional that hasn't been addressed.
Mm.
So I would work with you on the emotional component of wh-
What's going on?
what's right, because remember, your body responds to what you think and what you
Right.
say. So if your
Right.
body responds to that, then your body starts to create things to help you survive or help
Mhm.
protect you.
Mhm. So have you ever faked an orgasm?
I've faked the only time I've ever faked an orgasm was when I was tired.
Yeah. You just want to be done.
But usually I actually really enjoy and find pleasure in orgasm. Like I love
Yeah.
orgasming. To me, it's euphoric state. So I
Yeah.
try for me it's if I could help it, I it's very rare if I ever just kind of pretended. And it was with someone I was in a casual relationship with.
So it
So
didn't
it wasn't,
matter.
but never with someone that I was in an intimate relationship with.
Yeah.
Never.
I think that sometimes it can be also if you pleasure yourself a lot on your own, sometimes like for me, they aren't the same. Like I just think it's so much more enjoyable with my vibrator than it is when I have had one with a man for some reason. It's just and maybe it's because I've just allowed my mind, my brain to think that way. Like this is the way I have it. This is great, and that's just okay. Maybe I'm like going, it's not that great. I'm not missing out. Maybe I'm telling myself that. I don't know.
I
I
think it
don't
could be
know.
a combination of that, along with the possibility, and consider this, that maybe there is more safety in doing it yourself. You're more in control
Oh,
of it. Whereas with a
totally.
man, you aren't guaranteed that he's not going to leave you or he's not going to, you know, make you
Yeah.
feel a certain something, so you hold back with a man or with your partner, whereas with yourself, you're in control. You could take
Yeah.
as much time as you need. You know exactly what points to hit. You know
Yeah.
exactly how much. I don't know if your vibrator goes to a certain power. You know how to
Hi. Hi. Hi.
yeah, high, right? So you're
Yeah.
more in control of it, right? There
Yeah.
might be again with if there's shame around sex and orgasming
Yeah.
when you're with your partner, they're most likely you are inhibited. You're not as able to say to your partner, give him some direction. Hey,
Yeah.
I really like it when you're in this position with me. I really like it when you do this to me. Can we do more of this? Right.
Yes.
And help your partner
Yeah.
understand and know you. When I work with couples, I usually will send them home with a lot of really fun homework, with a lot
Mhm.
of different toys that they could play
Okay.
with. And
Okay.
one of the assignment is they get to alternate between 1 week.
Uh-huh.
It's can I say vagina worship here?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So 1 week it's
Uh-huh.
vagina worship. So he gets to
Okay.
worship her and
Okay.
all of her. So he gets to know all her pleasure points. And she
Okay.
cannot do anything. She lays there and she lets him, she gets to be worshiped. And
Okay.
then the next week it's cock worship.
His
So
turn.
then she gets to, or he, whatever
Yeah.
relationship you're in,
Yeah.
then you alternate. Now, if you have
Yeah.
two cocks, then you just alternate. One week you have a right. If you have two
Got
vaginas,
69 there.
yeah, you just. But the whole point is that you're learning one another. You're learning all the. So we have
Yes.
so many pleasure points in our beautiful bodies. So you're
Yes.
learning how to receive pleasure, both
Mm.
for both partners, and that's so important. And that builds intimacy and that builds connection.
Yeah. I love that. Those are great ideas. Those are really great ideas. And I think also that as you grow within yourself, and maybe I could probably chuck that up to myself again, is that I've grown and I've just learned like to be comfortable with who I am and how my body reacts and what I like and what I don't like. And I've really discovered that these conversations with somebody that I am very interested in, when we have those intimate conversations and we're being very descriptive and we're like, well, what about this? Do you like this? While it might feel a little awkward in the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're a little nervous and you're like, you're awkward. It's an awkward thing, but it brings you so much closer to
Yes.
each other, and it has opened up like so much more stuff and opportunities to try different things, that maybe this works and
Mm-hmm.
that works, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that I would like that, and then that takes it to like a whole nother level, which is just amazing. So I
Yeah.
think it's about, again, communication, which we talk about all the time, being such a key component of a relationship, but also just figuring out how to ask for the things that you want or want them to do without killing the mood. That's the chore. That's the
Yeah,
job,
well,
is
you
to
could
do it
create
without
the
ruining
mood. You could create the mood by asking, right, in a sexy
it. Yeah.
way. There's many different ways to ask for what you need in a way that's playful, right? That's
Yes.
flirty, that's inspiring, discovery,
Mm,
right? I think
yeah.
that's something that's really fun. And when you get into that, when now again that requires something between the partners. That's safety. It
Right.
requires safety and trust, and it requires something really beautiful. And
Totally.
you would have had to build that to get to it.
Yeah. It's not a first date kind of sex.
No, and
No.
some people have it in their first, on the first date. Some people have a wide, right? Just they're confident, they're wild,
Yeah.
they know exactly what they're getting into, and they know their body, and they, right? And there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
No.
By all means.
It's
Um
amazing.
it is. And I think I think I have some statistics for you if you want to hear some.
Yes, please.
So I jotted some down here.
Yeah.
It's more common than people realize, by the way, that people fake it. But
Okay.
this was a U.S. survey, and
Hmm.
about 59% of women said that they had faked orgasms at least once.
Hmm.
In a European study of over 11,000 people, about 13% were currently faking. 28% had faked in the past but stopped, and
Okay.
51% had never faked.
Wow.
Add that to the fact that 80 to 95% of women don't reliably orgasm from intercourse alone, and you can
Yeah.
see why the cycle of pretending
Yeah.
keeps happening.
It's happening. I believe it. It's a tricky spot to be in, and if you're not comfortable enough to really talk about it and figure things out together, I think that's the resolve, is that
Mhm.
people just kind of do that just to get it to go away. you know
And again, if that's the kind of relationship that you want to inspire, then that's fine
Mhm.
for you. I think we're talking to the women that are really longing for
Yeah,
an
something
intimate
healing.
relationship, a
Mhm.
strong relationship, a committed relationship, whatever kind of relationship you want to call it, a conscious relationship.
Yeah,
You have to commit to communicating your needs, communicating how you feel, communicating what you want, and being
yeah,
able to be okay with what your partner's needs are as well, right? You have to listen
yeah,
to them as well. So
yeah. So
fun
if you had to,
times.
sometimes if you had to fill in this little blank, if I say sex is better when there's, what would you say?
When there's music.
Music. Yes,
Yeah.
girl.
When the
I
mood is on, like candles and music. Ooh.
There is something to be said about that. I was intimate with this guy for quite a while, and I would say all the time, I would be like, it's an event. Like, I would have to prepare for an event with him. It was a
Yeah.
fabulous event. I mean, the lighting, he would change out the light bulbs so the color was
Oh
different in
my
the
God, I
room. It
love
would give
it.
off like a different look, just, and it would either be, like a red or purple, so it
Mhm.
would give like a
Mhm.
sexy kind of vibe to it. And then he'd play this grooving music that I've stolen, by the way, but he would play this grooving music that I was just, and every motion that he did was kind of going to the beat a little bit.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
it
hot.
was hot. It was hot. And it
Yeah.
was always like I was like, "Oh, what are we getting into tonight?" Because it was just so fun, and I had to prepare. I'm like, "Oh, it's an event with him." There's
It's an
something to be
event.
said about that. So change it up, people. Like, add the little spice, add
Yes,
some great music, add some candles, drip some chocolate, whatever. Take a bath first, a shower. Oh, hot.
yes. Set the
Yeah,
mood. And I say this, by the way, for people who are swiping.
yeah,
Set the mood the same way you would set the mood when you're about to have a sexy time, because
yeah,
it's going to get you into the mood and it's going to get you into the zone of receptivity. And
yeah,
I, it's one of my favorite tools to give single women when you're swiping. Try it.
yeah.
Try it next time you're swiping instead of just
Okay,
mindlessly swiping and just doing it passively.
yeah,
Intentionally set the mood, get in
okay.
some sexy negligee, light some candles, have some chocolate, set it all up, and then swipe, and then tell me how you feel.
Interesting. I love that idea because then you're seeing how you feel like if they're giving any sparks, right? If you're getting some fanny flutters or something by
Fanny
looking at them,
flutter.
fanny flutters.
Oh my God, I love that.
And you're like, "Oh, that just gave me a little woo down there," right? Just by looking
Yes.
at them. That's such a great point because I'm usually swiping out of boredom. So it's in like an area,
Yes.
if I'm just sitting waiting on a phone call, I'm swiping. If I'm waiting
Mhm.
for an Uber, I'm swiping, right? You're not doing it in any kind of time that would put you in that mindset. I love that idea. That's a
But
great one.
also, attraction is about frequency. So if you put
Mm,
yourself and you set the mood and your frequency is hot and sexy and in the right, you're in that
yeah.
frequency, you're gonna attract some pretty be careful, you're be careful out there, but you're gonna attract some pretty cool things because you're gonna
Yeah.
be your hormones and everything is gonna be off the charts. But
Oh,
it's pretty
I love it.
sexy.
I love that. All right, that's the homework for those listeners out there that are single and swiping. Put yourself in the mood, in the environment, in the situation, and let yourself have some sexy time while you're swiping. And then let us know. You can message me at well, let's see what it is, Andrea at from
Are you
Mrs. the
did you
number
just get
two
hot?
Ms.
I think you're just too hot to even talk.
Oh, flustered. I don't.
Woo!
I'm like, what am I even talking about here?
Is it your head, your heart, and your hoo-ha?
And my hoo ha, my hoo ha is hot right now.
Your
That's what's
hoo-ha is
hot.
hot. I love it.
Love it. So
I
yes,
love
let
it.
me know if you guys try this, what the results are. I love it. And I'll share it with Azie. We'll come back on and talk about it. You can email me at Andrea at from
Yes.
Mrs. the number two Ms.com. Azie, where can they find you? You have so much great info. Where do they find you?
Find me on Instagram right now. Instagram is it. I am Azie Osborne. Azie is Ozzie. Osborne is Osborne. And then
Yes.
it's I am in front of it. So it's just IAM. And that's where
Yes.
you could find me. You could DM me. You could, yeah, whatever you want to
Whatever
do.
you
If you're
want.
hot and you're single, why not?
Because she's
Bring
looking
it.
hot on here. You guys got to watch the video on YouTube.
Bring
She's one
it.
hot commodity. And
Oh,
your voice. Yeah,
thank you.
I'm a sexy mama.
I either
And
make
mhm,
I either make
what?
him cry or make him fall asleep.
Oh, yes, I told you that. You should do like the Calm app. It's so
Yeah.
therapeutic talking to you. Like that's
Oh,
why I think I always fall into my therapy session with you. I'm like, she's so good at keeping me
oh,
like just grounded and nice. It's so good. And for those of you who want to hear a little bit more about Azie and our lives in our menopausal state, we're just putting it out there that we got something big coming. We've got a new podcast coming called the Menopause Love Lounge, and it is with six amazing, incredibly
amazing.
talented, knowledgeable. I mean, these women, all
I'm
their
in
ages
awe.
40. We are in awe of it, right?
Yes.
It is growing into something we never even dreamed or imagined it would be. And we are wanting to share it with everybody else. So it's the Menopause Love Lounge because we want you to join us in the lounge. We are going to keep it real and raw and talk everything menopause. And we're not holding back. We're putting the positivity back in
Mm-mm.
menopause, aren't we? That's what we're
Mhm.
doing. So we're excited to
Yeah.
have you guys. That is dropping in October, and there'll be more information coming on that soon. So in the meantime, you're stuck with just us here, but that's pretty damn good because we got some
Yes.
good stuff to talk about.
We got
So
some good
thank you, my
stuff.
dear Azie, for joining me.
Oh, it's been a
It's so
pleasure.
amazing. So amazing.
Oh,
All right, you guys, I hope you have a great week. Go test out the little skills and homework that Ozzy's given to us this week and see how it goes. I'm going to try it too. I got some swiping to do tonight.
yes, girl.
Yes,
Yes.
girl. All right, you guys have a good one. Bye.
Bye.